In my previous life, after my parents divorced, Mom left with nothing, taking me along. My brother, who stayed with our wealthy dad, constantly mocked Mom and me for being poor, saying we were worse than beggars. But karma came full circle after Dad went bankrupt. He and my brother ended up homeless on the streets. Meanwhile, Mom married a billionaire and started a new life with me. Jealous of my good fortune, my brother pushed me off the 18th floor in a fit of rage. When I opened my eyes again, my brother and I had somehow returned to the day our parents divorced. This time, my brother got smart and immediately clung to Mom, refusing to let go. "I want to go with Mom." He thought he'd finally picked the winning side, his face full of smugness. Inside, I was bursting with joy. Finally, it would be my brother's turn to suffer through those suffocating hard times. When Mom heard that Larry also wanted to come with her, she was so moved she nearly cried. But Dad frowned, reluctantly saying, "Larry, your mom is useless. You'll definitely suffer if you go with her." Though Mom was usually stubborn, she sighed and nodded reluctantly. "Larry, you should stay with Dad. I don't want you to suffer with me. Your sister can handle hardship, so let her come with me." I let out a cold laugh, feeling a bitter pang in my heart. As expected, no one cared about what I wanted. Listen to Dad and go with him. Dad has money, you can have whatever you want. Let your sister deal with the hardship. Having lived through the previous life, Larry knew Dad would go bankrupt, so naturally he wouldn't choose him again. He held onto Mom's arm tightly. "I've already decided I am going with Mom." Despite the pressure, Larry still left with Mom, who walked away with nothing. Before leaving, he said provocatively, "Mia, you just wait and enjoy the good life with Dad." I waved back at him, suppressing my laughter, secretly delighted. My foolish brother Larry had no idea what he was about to face. In my previous life, after leaving with Mom, I lived miserably. Mom was lazy by nature, accustomed to the life of a housewife, completely unable to support herself. Back then, I not only had to go to school but also work to make ends meet. I only slept 3 hours a day. The rest of the time I was either at school or working, delivering food, cleaning, washing dishes. There wasn't a single dirty or exhausting job I hadn't done. Mom still wasn't satisfied. "You money-losing burden, you barely earn enough to buy me a pair of shoes. You might as well find a rich man to marry." She either hit me or yelled at me, treating me like a servant rather than a daughter. Later, when she married a wealthy man, my life improved slightly. I thought my suffering was finally over, but I fell into an even deeper abyss. Dad was upset about not getting Larry and took all his anger out on me. "From now on, you better behave yourself. If you dare upset Kathy, I'll break your legs. When you get to Kathy's house, remember your place. You're living under someone else's roof, not some princess." Dad's attitude toward Larry and me was like night and day. When he looked at me, there was only disgust, as if I were nothing but dead weight. The car pulled into Kathy Anderson's estate, and I was stunned by the mansion. I never expected Dad to find such a wealthy woman. Watching Dad carefully try to please Kathy, I understood that here, Kathy was the head of the household. Kathy stood at the entrance, her eyes twinkling with amusement as she waved at me. "You must be Mia. You're really beautiful." She reached out to pat my head, and I instinctively flinched, trying to dodge. In my previous life, every time Mom raised her hand, it was to hit me. "Stupid girl, what are you dodging for? Nobody's going to eat you." Dad shot me a glare before turning to Kathy with a smile, reaching for her hand. The moment they touched, Kathy suddenly pulled back. That's when I noticed the tape wrapped around her hand. A violin sat in the corner of the living room. "Are you learning violin?" "Yes, I recently enrolled in a class." What a coincidence, I had also learned violin as a child when I lived with my grandmother. I picked up the violin, casually flipped through the sheet music, and began to play. Dad tried to stop me, but Kathy held him back. I was rusty from not practicing for so long. When I finished the piece, I saw appreciation in Kathy's eyes and knew I'd done the right thing. Kathy threw her arm around my shoulder. "This is your home now." I relaxed and took her arm. From that day on, I catered to her interests, practicing violin with her every day. I scoured all her social media, working hard to understand her personality, hobbies, and eating habits. Day by day, she finally accepted me completely. She was generous, sending me to the best high school, buying me new clothes, and giving me $150,000 in monthly allowance. She said, "Since you've entered my home, I won't shortchange you." While my parents looked at me with nothing but disdain, she was different. Her eyes held expectation when she looked at me. To repay her, I studied relentlessly, consistently ranking at the top of my class and winning awards left and right. At the end of the semester, Dad received a call from my homeroom teacher and was ready to hit me before even understanding the situation. "You caused trouble again, didn't you?" It was Kathy who firmly protected me and took the call, only to learn the teacher was calling with good news. I'd been named Outstanding Student Representative and received a national scholarship. Dad was stunned, never expecting me to become so excellent. In my previous life, with my parents constantly fighting, I couldn't focus on studying. After the divorce, Mom forced me to work, so naturally my grades plummeted. Now, with the good environment Kathy provided, I could finally study in peace. Because of my excellent grades, the school invited Dad to speak as an outstanding student's parent. He finally felt proud, and his attitude toward me softened considerably. In this atmosphere, I smoothly made it through high school. During the second semester of senior year, Kathy asked if I was interested in studying abroad. With my grades, I could definitely get into a good university. I was about to happily agree when Dad flatly refused. "A girl should be grateful just to attend college, and you want to go abroad? Do you deserve it?" In that moment, I understood that no matter how hard I tried, I'd never earn my father's love. In his heart, only Larry mattered most. In this life, my dear brother lived a completely different life from mine. When he first left with Mom, Kathy had wanted to bring him back. But he disdainfully refused. "You're the woman who destroyed
my parents' marriage. How dare you try to be my stepmother?" Kathy was heartbroken by his words. After spending 2 Christmases in poverty with Mom, Larry finally waited for Mom to remarry into wealth. He was thrilled, thinking his suffering was finally over, but he had no idea he was falling into a new abyss. The CEO Mom married appeared gentle on the surface, but had a violent temper. In my previous life, he not only beat Mom and me, but took pleasure in tormenting me. In this life, how could he possibly spare Larry? Larry was beaten black and blue, dressed in rags like a little beggar. He finally couldn't take it anymore, and secretly ran out to find Dad for help. He threw his arms around Dad's legs, crying his heart out, a complete contrast to his resolute departure before. "Dad, please save me. I don't want to stay at Mom's anymore. If I stay any longer, I'll really die." Dad immediately softened, helping him up with a face full of heartache. "Larry, come back quickly. Daddy has missed you to death." Kathy didn't want to take him in, but he made a huge fuss, threatening, "Kathy, if you don't take me in, I'll go die." Kathy's heart softened, and she still let him through the door. The moment he moved in, the peace that had existed in our home was completely shattered.
Dad poured all his energy into his precious son. He bought Larry a closet full of designer clothes and transferred him to my high school. Just because of one comment from Larry, Dad forced me to give up my south-facing bedroom and move to the damp, moldy guest room. "Mia, give up your room. Larry likes the masculine energy and light." "I'm not moving." When Larry saw I wouldn't budge, he started throwing another tantrum about running away from home. "This family has no place for me. I'm an unwanted child. I might as well be dead." Dad's heart softened, and he kicked down my bedroom door, throwing my luggage out. "If Larry wants to live there, you have to give it up." I was banished to the dark, damp little room with feminine energy, and my skin broke out in eczema. Larry even spread rumors that I had some dirty disease, calling me disgusting. With Kathy away on business, this father-son duo was completely out of control. Larry snuck into Kathy's bedroom and stole her jewelry to sell. When I caught him, he threatened me. "If you dare snitch, I'll kill you." I just sneered coldly, not bothering to engage with him. He thought that by silencing me, his misdeeds would never be discovered.
Little did he know that Kathy's room had surveillance cameras installed long ago. Acting this recklessly, he was bound to face the consequences sooner or later. After that, his behavior in Kathy's house escalated even further. Without Kathy's permission, he threw parties at the villa, inviting a bunch of sketchy teenagers who turned the house into a complete mess. They even smashed Kathy's beloved violin. When I tried to intervene, I was repeatedly told to mind my own business. Who do you think you are? This is my dad's house. I can do whatever I want. When drunk, he went completely insane, urinating on a famous painting Kathy had bought in France, and even harassing Rachel, the housekeeper's daughter Sophie. Just when I was feeling desperate, Kathy's stern voice came from outside the door. "What are you doing?" Kathy had returned early. Everyone froze. Larry quickly let go of Sophie and jumped up from the sofa. His cronies, sensing trouble, scattered immediately. Faced with the chaos throughout the house, the usually gentle Kathy finally erupted in fury, trembling with rage as she pointed at Larry and screamed, "You bastard! What have you turned my house into?" Meanwhile, Sophie, who had been stripped by Larry, finally snapped out of her terror. Housekeeper Rachel rushed over to embrace her daughter, covering her with clothes. "Miss Anderson, I've worked for you for 10 years, and I remember all your kindness, but I really can't continue anymore. I can't let my daughter suffer like this again." Rachel was crying as she pulled her daughter toward the door. Kathy's eyes also reddened. I understood she had reached her breaking point. But Dad still didn't get it and added fuel to the fire. "Good riddance. My son taking an interest in your daughter should be considered a blessing." "David, shut up. It's bad enough that I'm supporting you, but now I have to tolerate your son running wild too. He stole my jewelry, trashed my house, and bullied my people. Rachel has been with me for 10 years. Her daughter is like my own daughter." Larry showed no remorse, saying casually, "It's just some jewelry, right? You're rich. Why make such a fuss?" Larry showed no remorse, casually saying, "It's just some jewelry, right? Why make such a big deal? The villa got dirty, so let Rachel clean it. I just kissed that little girl a couple times. Is that really such a problem?" Dad chimed in from the side. "Honey, Larry's still young. Don't hold it against him." I couldn't take it anymore and stepped forward. "He's already 18 years old. He can't keep using his age as an excuse for doing wrong." The moment the words left my mouth, Dad slapped me across the face. The stinging pain was intense. "Shut up. It's not your place to butt in." I covered my face, feeling my nose sting as tears welled up in my eyes. But I still held back the tears. These people weren't worth crying over. Kathy was furious, pulling me behind her protectively as she pointed at Dad and yelled, "David, do you have any humanity